I'm going to show you the little introduction to Onshape assemblies. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to take our base plate that we've created as well as our guide blocks. We're basically going to put them all into an assembly, and we're going to fasten them together so that they're all going to be stuck. So this is what the final product is going to end up looking like by the end of this video. Let's go ahead and let's get ready to begin. I'm going to go ahead and just delete all these parts. So I'm starting from scratch just like you. What you want to do is you want to go down here and you want to find where it says Assembly 1. And what we can do is we can select that tab, and what we can do now is we can insert parts. Now it should be the case where all of our parts are in the same document. If they are not in the same document, you can end up fetching those. I'm going to show you how you can do that. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and begin by going to insert, and then what we can do is we can insert our parts. So this is where we're going to end up being able to actually assemble these, right? And so what you can do is if you've got all your files in one spot, you can end up actually clicking right here. That's going to bring in all of your parts for you. If it is the case that you've got this in other parts, then what you can end up doing is go to other documents and you can go to recently opened. This will then show you all the parts that you've recently opened. Then you can click and bring those in. So that's what we've got there. Now what we need to do is, as you can see, if I try moving this, it's going to end up not keeping my parts connected. What we can do is we can assemble this part and we can establish relationships between the parts. What we want to do first is with the base plate, we always want to end up fixing one part of this. Now if I fix it, that means it's not going to move. So we always want to have one part of our objects fixed. What I can now do is I can end up using these different mate connectors. What we're going to be focusing on in here is going to be the fasten mate. And so what I can do is I can click on the fasten mate here. And what I can do is I can select 2 points that are going to need to be in contact. Now in terms of this upper left guide block as well as this base plate, what I usually end up going with are the corners. So if I end up hovering over this plane here, I can hold down shift while hovering over that plane. What that's going to do is it's going to lock it in so that I can select this point. Even if I go off that plane, it's still going to stay on all the points that are on that plane. So that is, once again, by using the shift, holding that down, it'll allow you to do that. So I'm going to click there while holding shift. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to find that corresponding point on my guide block. Now, just as you can see here, there's no side profile on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover over this. I'm going to hold down shift, and then I'm going to click on this point right here because that's the point that should be in contact with the base plate there. All right. Moving on next, we can press the green check mark, and then I can move on to the upper right guide block. Now once again, I'm going to end up going into this corner, hold down shift, I'm going to click this point right here. Now the corresponding point on my upper right guide block is going to be at this point right here. Now why is it up there? The hole is down here, so it should be up on this top part here, right? So now I can end up looking at this. I can see, yes, that is established correctly. We can press the green check mark and we know that we're good to go. All right, moving on next, we can go ahead and go down here. I'm going to hold down shift while hovering over this plane. I'm going to hold down shift, click on this point right there. Now for this guy, it should be this corner right here. Make sure you're oriented with this part. Remember, there should be no side profile on the actual edge that we clicked that's on this plane here. So hover over that plane, hold down shift, and then click on this point. So now we've got that, okay? Now, one thing that you might end up noticing is your parts might end up coming in weird. So you can end up using this to rotate them. You can always end up using this to flip the axis too. Might be the case where you have to do some of that, okay? We're gonna go ahead and press green check mark. Up next, I'm gonna go to right here. Hold down shift once again. For our bottom right, I'm going to select this point here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the side that has no profile on it, right? And then we're going to end up going to here. We're going to hold down shift, click on this, and then now as you can see, we've put that in there. We're going to green check mark. Let's make sure that these side profiles are lined up correctly. As you can see, this is the screw slider slide, and then from the bottom view, we should end up having it where there's the pin slider in there. All right. So that is our little introduction to using the fasten mate in Onshape and how we're going to use that for the Trammel toy, adding in the guide blocks to the base plate. Hope that was helpful. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments. As always, like and subscribe. Catch y'all later in the next video. Bye-bye.